Welcome back to another episode of Her Expat Life, the channel that is dedicated to bringing you all the news, information, and just general life advice for female entrepreneurs, expats, and digital nomads. Today, we're going to discuss quite an interesting topic, and that is how to find your purpose and how to turn it into a business. So we've all heard the catchphrase, find your purpose, find your purpose. But the application of this is a lot more difficult than people can imagine. And there are also a lot of fears that people have tied into this topic. We have with us Laura Lopez. Hi, Laura. How are you?
Yeah, hi, Alex. You're very good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us today. So, Laura is a purpose coach and an expat mentor, and she's going to help us discuss how to find your purpose, how to maximize your purpose, and how to profit of your purpose. And for those of you who are not familiar with our membership program, Laura is part of one of our partners, and she offers discounts to anybody who is part of our membership program. So if you have not yet joined, please visit herexpatlife.com, become a member, and you can enjoy exclusive benefits not only from Laura, but from our other partners, including co-working and co-living spaces globally, beauty salons, fitness studios, you name it, we've thought of it. So that takes me to our conversation with Laura. Okay, Laura, can you give us a little bit of a background about you? How did you find your purpose and how did you turn it into a business?
Yeah, thank you for that question. It is a great story for sure and a long story, but to keep it brief, I believe since I moved abroad 12 and a half years ago, which it has been a while, I have faced quite some challenges. And I feel like the latest challenges that were really strong in my life, they were in 2019 when my visa to stay in my current country, Australia, was rejected. So I lost my management role and, I had to leave my house, my friends, my partner at the time. But then 2 weeks after, my mom passed away as well. So I feel like all these challenging events in a short period of time is what really made me to actually rethink my life and what is it that I wanted to bring to the world and do with my life. So it started with a challenge, and from there, doing the inner work and actually going deeper in my healing journey is what made me find my purpose, because I was looking for a meaning and I couldn't find it in the outside world, because everything that I thought I was important to me, which is, my job title or what I earn, my family, my friends, where I live, it was taking away from me. So that's when I started looking deeper. And from that journey of looking deeper, I actually was curious to see, what I'm good at, what is my gift, and can I bring to the world to actually help others. And within that, actually finding the service and the meaning that I could bring to the world is when I found out what I could do to start my own business and also help others.
That is amazing. So through adversity, you kind of found your path in life,
Yes.
yeah? A lot of us are intimidated or overwhelmed by the idea of finding your purpose. It's such a simple
Mm.
phrase, but just the thought of it almost creates a fear or a shock or a limit within a person where they don't know how to even begin. So, why do you think we have this fear of finding our purpose, and what are the small steps we can start taking towards finding it?
Yeah, of course. I feel like the fear comes from choosing one thing that you do forever. First of all, and secondly, we have so much noise of what we should do or not should do, we should be and not be, and all the things that come from our cultural background, from our society, and from our family, that we are not able to actually see clearly what is it that we want to do and how can we actually contribute to the world and also start a business if you want to start a business around that. So that would be the top reason of why people feel overwhelmed and why people cannot find it. First of all, because they cannot see the clarity, because they are not listening to themselves, and secondly is because they put too much pressure on the word purpose. So first of all, for anyone listening to us, I truly believe that our biggest purpose in life is to evolve, right? To learn and evolve. right? That would be like the main purpose. And then when I say, because I'm a purpose coach, I mean that in that evolvement of like actually developing yourself spiritually and personally, you can actually contribute to the world. So what I focus more is in the purpose of actually giving others, right? So the first tip that I would say for someone that is looking for their purpose to actually contribute to others, it will be like to do the inner work themselves. So first of all, we need to actually recognize what is our voice and what is not. So that would be the first thing, like actually challenging the way that you are thinking and that you have brought up, because obviously we have all these values that are not ours. They have like been forced to us since we are little, so that's why we're really confused in what is us and what is not. And the way that I like to explain it, that I learned it from one of my mentors, Jay Shetty, is like, imagine that you are listening to a bad song and it's in replay every single day, every single hour, and you cannot turn it off. Eventually, and I'm sure this happened like to someone like that is listening to the radio to the same song, it's not a good song, but you start singing that song. You just start singing the song and you memorize it. And it doesn't matter, how much you don't like it, you hear it because it's playing and playing over it. So this is the way that I like to explain it. We actually need to turn down the noise of that song so we can hear ourselves. So the first thing is to tap into our intuition. And the way that we do that is a lot of self-awareness, and things that people can start doing today is something so simple like meditating and journaling. Really has changed my life. First of all, the journaling, to have the awareness of what is happening in your mind and where is it coming from. Is it true or is it not true? Probably not, right? And then the meditation, to actually calm down your thoughts and listen to the voice. The more that you meditate and you actually quiet the mind, the more that you can hear your soul and your intuition, what you truly want. So I would definitely start with that when it comes to clarity. And with the business, there are other tips, but I feel like you are asking me more about this, about the purpose, right?
Amazing. Something that I think a lot of females in particular experience, and I myself am a chronic sufferer of this, and it is imposter syndrome. The idea that we're not good enough or not qualified enough or not ready at a certain point for a certain opportunity or something that could be a big change in our lives. So, where does this imposter syndrome come from, and how or what can we do to start changing these ideas that we have?
Yeah, of course. That's a great question, and definitely something that I had to face myself as well when I started my journey, the imposter syndrome, and not feeling that I'm good enough yet, or that I'm gonna get caught and someone's gonna tell me, "Oh, you are not a real coach." And that's why it's really important to actually understand your natural gifts that you are born with. So one thing are the skills and the knowledge that you acquire through experience and through learning, and there is something different that is your gift, right? Something that you are born with. So you can actually not get caught up in doing it wrong because you are born with it. That's when it's like the trick to actually overcome that imposter syndrome. So I would say, when you tap into what you are naturally good at, you are never an imposter. And to me, I am a coach by birth, not by certification. I am a certified coach, but that's not what made me a coach. So if I look back through times, the curiosity for asking so many questions, understanding the truth, like helping people, guiding people, it was since I was a child. Like, I remember conversations with my older sister since I was like 8 years old, that are like coaching like conversations, right? And that's something that it was born with me. So whatever it is that you have, there is a skill, there is a gift that you have it since birth, right? It's part of who you are. So I believe once that you tap into that, you can actually overcome that imposter syndrome faster. And also asking your mind the right questions. So when you're asking yourself why I'm not qualified or good enough for this job opportunity or whatever you call it, your mind is gonna open all the files of all the experiences where you messed it up and you weren't good enough for whatever it is. So everything comes down to mind work, to be honest. So it's actually asking yourself the right questions. So what I would do when I started is like actually writing like 20 to 30 reasons why I was like good enough and ready to do the job that I wanted to do, and actually pump myself up. Although, when I started, I only had the non-paying clients, right? When you're starting the certification, I will see all the experiences from all the people that I have helped, non-officially as a coach, but I did help. So I would get all these like files of information that will help me take action, right? So I will ask my mind, why am I ready? And then my mind will tell me, oh, do you remember when you helped your friends and do that? Oh, do you remember when you overcame this? Oh, you remember? And then I'm feeling pumped. And then another trick that I love sharing, I feel like is really useful, is actually thinking about the person that you feel that is good enough to do whatever it is that you want to do, but you don't feel like it yet, and actually embody it, right? And in a way that you can act like it until you believe that you are. So I had like different tricks. Like I wear glasses from long distance, right? But not very often. But what I used to do for my coaching sessions is I used to, you obviously like dress up, put on some makeup, and then like wear my glasses. And to me, those glasses were I am a powerful coach now. And I had to like embrace it until I actually believed that I am. Like right now, I actually don't have to like wear anything, because to me, I am a coach 24/7. I cannot actually turn it off, kind of thing. But yeah, those are some of the tips. But it's really common to have imposter syndrome when you're doing something new that you haven't done yet, right? That's why you need to look for like proof that you can actually do it, and know that you are not going to be perfect when you start, and that's okay. We are going to make mistakes. So have the learner's mentality is like the biggest tip that I could give. Like, you are always a student. I am still a student. I can learn more, I can grow more, and you will never get to a point that you know everything. That's actually impossible, and I don't want to get to that place. And life will be boring if you are just done, right? You got to the top.
I love what you're saying. Fake it till you feel it. I've heard this advice many times in life, and honestly, it works. It really, really works.
I I don't like saying the word fake it, like, the fake it until you make it. I like to say embody it until you become it, right?
I like that.
So embody, like feel it. It is already within you. It's in the future, but it's already within you, and then you will become it.
I much prefer your way of phrasing it. I think I'm going to change my wording around that, but it's
Okay.
true. Once you
Yeah.
step into, and at least for me in my personal experience, sometimes people who are hard on themselves, or who are perfectionists, we expect to have achieved a certain level before we can start doing something, but it's not feasible. You learn through doing. You learn through failure. Failure should be embraced. It's something that,
Exactly.
that's how we improve. If we don't fail, we can never get better at something. So I really
Exactly.
like what you're saying there. Okay, Laura, let's take this into a little bit of a skew, speaking specifically about female expats, because that within itself is a very unique experience. Being a woman who has left the comfort of her home country and is living, whether it be a nomadic or even a stable life somewhere else, but just not having the comforts of being at home. So, what unique challenges do female expats often encounter when they are trying to identify their purpose, and how can they specifically work through this?
Yeah, of course. And that's a great question. So I would say the same that you already mentioned. It would be the imposter syndrome, not feeling that they are good enough, and also hearing, that voice that is telling them that, maybe they should be doing something else. Maybe they should be another person and not actually embracing who they truly are. Because what happens when you move to a different country, and obviously I'm sure like you have experienced it, and many people that are listening to us today, is that you change the way that you see the world. That's why to me, like, moving abroad is one of the biggest personal growth journeys ever, because it's when you start like seeing things from a different lens, right? And then your values start changing. You don't value what you used to value. and you feel, oh my God, I don't know if I want to do what I used to do or what they told me that I had to do. And that's when it comes the whole confusion and people get stuck. And that's why I specialize in that, because I was there myself. You get confused into that transition and you need to align your values. So one of the most important things that I do with my clients is that actually seeing what is important for you now, because obviously it's going to be different that when it was in your country, and how can we align that. And the way that we align it is actually seeing what is blocking that alignment. So probably there are fears that are on the way, probably there are limiting beliefs as well. Okay, so we actually need to remove those to align your actions with your values, because your values are not what you say, your values are what you do, right? I could say I value health, and then I walk into McDonald's and I get a burger. Well, what is saying that about myself, that I don't value that much health, right? So this is what we have to do: align your actions with your values. And that will be one of the biggest problem when it comes to female expats. They don't recognize what are the new values. They're still operating from the old system. It's kind of like, I like to compare with a iPhone software, or any other phone, right? Like you need to update the software from now on to run smoothly. So we're trying to run from the old software with the new phone, and it's actually not working. So I help them to actually update it, and then align with what they want, and then design a path from there once that they have aligned it.
Amazing. Okay, so let's imagine that you have worked with a female who was felt the urge or calling to find their purpose. They have identified through doing the inner work what their purpose is. How do they then turn this into a business, and more so into a successful business? What are some of the challenges they might face, and how can they work through converting a passion and a purpose into a sustainable business?
Yeah, of course. Believe it or not, the business bit is the easy thing. Like the difficult thing is actually turning off the noise. But once that you know your passion, your gifts, what you want to bring to the world, then it's easy to figure out what business you need to do. And this is why, because you know yourself and you have that confidence that now you have, because you know your gift, you know what you can bring to the world, and you have chosen a cause that you really care about. So that's really important piece of my program, is actually finding a group of people or a mission in the world that you really want to help, because you feel a degree of pain towards it. And this word is key: pain. We turn pain into mission and into your purpose, and that's what I really believe, how you find your purpose, right? So I always, for example, I always felt a degree of pain every time that I would see someone living abroad and not living their full potential, right? I always had that thing, like since the first year that I moved abroad. Like I remember, like, and I have this vivid image of seeing this kitchen porter in a hotel. He's from Poland and he couldn't speak English barely, and he worked in that role for 20 years, and he seemed really unhappy, right? And I was like, oh my God, like why can't you not do something else? And he just didn't feel that he could do it, and that actually made me feel frustrated, a bit of pain, like why is this happening, right? So once that you find that pain, that frustration of like, I cannot believe that this is happening, then you ask yourself, what problems can I solve passionately using my unique gifts to solve this cause, right? Having a business is about solving a problem for others. It doesn't matter what you do, you're solving a problem, right? So you just need to think about the problems that you can solve, but you are passionate about solving this. If you are not passionate, then there is no point, right? And then once that you find that problem, then is when you look into, okay, do I want to provide product or a service? What will be my market? And that's when it comes, if you want a successful business as well, is to be more specific in what you do, not so general. But once that you identify your mission, again, you become more specific, so that actually really helps you to settle the foundations of what you want to do and how are you gonna start making money from it.
Amazing. Okay, so my next question has to do with the sense or the idea of security, because that's something that as expats we often seek things that want to give us the
Mm,
thrill of learning and newness, but we sacrifice that a lot of times, or it comes at the cost of security, whether it be a feeling of having a support system or financial security a lot of times.
mhm.
What purpose or what role does security and the sense of security play in finding someone's purpose, and especially financial security? How do we manage the fears of, oh, I might sacrifice my current job to
Mm.
pursue my passion, to pursue my purpose? How do we navigate taking that risk and talking ourselves through this process?
Yeah, that's a great question. And yeah, I agree. I guess like many people like struggle with that financial security. When it comes to the stability of, obviously a place to live and your life, because when we're expat, we are actually seeking that, right? Like we move to another country and we don't want to like be unstable. And I feel like through my inner journey, I found that stability, first of all, is within. Like once that you are stable inside, you find really easy to actually adapt to like new circumstances. So I would say that that would be the first thing, that stability is inside and no outside. And that's something that I had to learn through. I moved to like 5 different countries and I was like, oh, where is my country? I need to find my country. There is not your country. Yeah, there is a place that you love living, but that's not going to make you feel fulfilled, right? So I think it's really important that everyone understands that fulfillment doesn't come from the outside, it comes from the inside. Starting from there, when it comes to the financial stability, there is a way to do a smooth transition and not like, okay, I quit tomorrow and I start this business, if that's not something that you would like to do. I'm more of a risk taker and I throw myself into something if I believe that it will work. But for people that are struggling more with that, there is always the system of, having a job and then, smoothly starting the other business, doing it, in your free time. And when you're actually making the income that, you want, like, for example, maybe like making the same income that you're making in your day job, then actually quitting and going full in to get more stability. Obviously when it comes to business, it's not the same, that in your work where you get your paycheck every week or every month, and that's secure. You are your own boss and you make your own paycheck. So this could be obviously really challenging, but that's why having your business is the second biggest personal growth journey ever, because whatever is happening in your business is just a reflection of whatever you have to work on yourself. So when it comes to mindset, first of all, that's why I do in my program as well, is looking at the money beliefs that are going to come later on. Like seeing what actually you believe about money and about work, because depending on our cultural background, we might believe that you need to work really hard or you need to be an employee to actually make money. Or I don't know, like since I was little, I have heard like if you have your own business, you're not going to make money. Or if you're helping others, that's a big one, helping others, you shouldn't make money. And all those beliefs are going to stop you. So is anticipating for those will be key, to actually face the financial obstacles that might come. And it is beautiful because whatever you haven't healed, it will come back to you, and you know that you have to work on that. So whatever is not working in your business, first of all, you need to look at it, what is your belief about it, and then take action into the business. And obviously the beginnings might not be like stable as you would like to, but the more that you work in yourself and the more consistent that you are, the better. To be key has been not giving up, like having the mentality of I'm gonna make this work, yes or yes, there is no other way, and actually moving forward, not questioning myself. I haven't questioned myself in the whole journey. I was like, I'm making it work, and that's it, I made it work.
That's amazing. So, willpower and resilience, it sounds like these two
Yeah.
characteristic traits are quite important to
Yeah.
be fulfilling your purpose. For someone who maybe isn't as naturally self driven, how can or what tips would you give for someone to maintain the sense of resilience in difficult times? Because, as any entrepreneur will tell you, There are highs
Yeah,
and lows when you start your own business.
100%.
So when you're going through the lows, what can you do to get yourself through those days where you just maybe feel like quitting or feel like, oh, you can't do it anymore?
Yeah, of course. And that's really important. Well, first of all, I would say tapping into your why again, your purpose. And that's why, the purpose is linked to the business, because there is a higher reason of why you're doing this. Is not just to pay your bills or to be financially stable, right? Is to serve a mission and a purpose. So if you have that in mind every single day, that will actually drive you and give you, the energy that you need, because motivation doesn't knock your door every day. There's a fact, right? But tapping into that, and also tapping into a community of entrepreneurs, has been like huge. Entrepreneurship could be lonely, so it's really, really important that you have other people around you, other people that are in your same journey, and other people that are above you as well, that are in another stage that you would like to get. First of all, the same journey, to feel that you can relate to someone, that you are not the only one struggling with that. And then the source of motivation and inspiration to seeing someone who has achieved what you have achieved. So, for anyone like starting a business, go online on person to find that community. I started my business in lockdown, and I didn't have a problem finding a community online. Like literally, I had like calls every single week with people that were in the same journey to help me throughout it. So that would be key. Like community, seriously, is life changing.
I completely agree, especially for someone who is living abroad and doesn't have luxury or the ability to connect with old friends or family members, maybe as regularly or frequently or face to face. I've found that my biggest supporters now living as an expat are the members of community that I've built in my new life. So, yeah, I agree with you. I think community is a very, very important thing to think about. Can you share examples or anything that comes to mind of a story or a person or a journey of someone that you've coached who has really inspired you, or that has had such a beautiful outcome that makes you proud to have been part of their journey?
Yeah, of course. I have many. One of them that I really proud of is Jody. Like she was working for multi-level marketing, I believe, and also in a hospital. But we found out that her purpose was actually helping teenagers struggling with mental health, and to prevent them to actually, take their life, because her brother actually took his life when he was like 12 years old. So to me, that was like such a beautiful realization, that what she wanted was actually help these teenagers, and now plan these events to get all the kids together, so they actually feel that community that we were talking about, right? Because normally when you're struggling with mental health, you feel isolated and you want like other people that you can relate to. So to me, that was really beautiful, that she actually found out that what she wanted was to create those events. But there are many. Tarsha as well. She was working full time when I met her, and then she quit and started like her own business, which was beautiful. And what she found is that she wanted to help her teenage self that was struggling with confidence when she was playing netball, actually. So she wanted someone to encourage her, but she didn't have that person. So she turned to be a performance coach for teenage athletes. So to me, that's like beautiful as well, that she's helping like young girls to gain that confidence, not just in the game but also in their life. I also have Antonella, who she was working in different jobs. When I met her, she was quite lost into what she wanted to do, and then she found her passion for yoga and astrology, and now she's helping other women through those practices. So yeah, there are many people that inspire me, and I'm really, really happy to be part of their journey, and then to be able to see their gift, that they were already gifted to actually help the world, but they just couldn't see it at first. So yeah, some of those.
That's beautiful. And again, I can hear references to people taking their pain and turning or finding their purpose within that. So I think
Exactly.
there's a beautiful message for all of us who've been through something difficult that, there might be a little gem if we dig deep enough through the bad things in life that we've been through.
Exactly. Exactly. That's the key. Tap into the pain, you will find your purpose.
Okay, Laura, we're going to take a little bit of a change of conversation, turn of conversation here to talk a little bit about online presence. So we live in a world, a day and age, as we are right now. We're on an online platform, and social media, online tools are essential for building a business in this day and age. However, it can be very difficult to be authentic and to stick to your purpose and to not lose yourself in the idea of likes, retweets, reposts. How or what advice do you have for female entrepreneurs in maintaining their authentic selves online and not losing themselves in the madness that is social media?
Yeah, I hear you. Definitely, that's a challenge. I would say staying true to yourself, to who you are. Do not try to copy anyone or imitate. Just be yourself, because at the end of the day, people connect with people, right? And what makes you different is yourself. And there are other coaches. Obviously, there's like the big coaches like Tony Robbins or Jay Shetty or whoever is, but no one can be me, right? And I cannot be then, and I don't try to be then. I don't want to be then. So you are going to attract your crowd and the people that relate to you when you are yourself. When you mix yourself with trying to copy other people and putting a persona that is not yourself, that's when you are going to feel less, because you are feel that not going to be good enough as you are. And secondly, you are not going to attract the right people because you are not being who you truly are. So I know it sounds simple, and it's not as simple for some people, but actually just being yourself, and if you need to be on camera, just actually talking like you talk normally is way more powerful than trying to put that persona of someone that you have seen online. And that will keep you sane, and some people will like you and some people won't like you. And I really like this, that I learned from an entrepreneur. His name is Gary Vee. He's American, and I saw him like recently, and he was like, the only way that you won't get affected by negative comments from people random in the internet is if you don't actually listen to the good comments as well. So when you are defining your worth from someone else that gives you a comment, positive or negative, you are losing the power, right? You are giving it to someone else. So it's really important that you stay true to yourself, be humble, but also do not let anything external affect you, because otherwise you're going to be really up and down, right? You're going to be affected to whatever other people think or say about you, and that's defining your worth. Your worth is defined by you and no one else.
Okay, Laura, I'm quite interested in if you had to talk to a younger version of yourself. If you
Mm.
had to speak to the Laura of a few years ago, before she started this journey, knowing what you know now, what advice would you give to her, and what would you wish she had known about herself?
Yeah, powerful. I love that question. Well, I would say everything that I have already mentioned today, but adding to that is that you're ready enough. That's what I will tell myself. I was like in this pursuit to feel enough, right? And again, what I was mentioning in getting that enoughness from the external, right? From who I help, or from what achievement I get, or from who is giving me praise. And I just realized that it wasn't about that. I was already enough. I am already gifted, and I already have the capability to help many people. So I would definitely tell myself that first, and then take action. Do not overthink it. Like imperfect action is so much better than just like perfect action. And I feel that really stopped me 4 years. Like 4 years I was overthinking it all the time, instead of like throwing myself and just like trying the first thing that came to my mind. So I feel like the sooner that you do that, and yeah, the more mistakes that you make, the faster that you progress. We spend too long avoiding to get those failures and those challenges, and is actually the best thing that can happen to us. Is an opportunity to grow. Every time that a challenge comes to me now, I thinking, okay, what is my opportunity right now within this challenge, right? That's how I see it. But yeah, I feel like most of us do not feel enough, and that's the main problem. We just don't feel enough as we are, and that's why we're trying to look for the external. And again, my job title doesn't make me enough. I am enough, right? Even if I'm a coach or not a coach, even if I help people or not help people, I am enough. And knowing that and actually changing the dialogue that was in my head is what really helped me the most. So yeah, I would say, be easy on yourself. You're enough. You're doing great.
I love that. I love that. We
Mm,
often are quite hard on ourselves, and then when we look back in a few years' time, we think, "Wow, she was so amazing. She did such cool things. She took so many risks." But in the moment, we don't grant ourselves the same kind of voice of
exactly.
comfort or support. It takes us a little bit of hindsight a lot of times to be able to see the magic that we used to be, which I think is quite sad
Mm,
sometimes.
yeah,
Um,
it is.
Laura, something that I struggle with, and that I know a lot of people who are trying to start a new journey in life, who are thinking that they're unhappy and they're trying to find their purpose, is procrastination. So,
Mm,
for the woman who has been sitting at her desk job or logging on online to work every day and thinking, this is not for me, I need to change something, but not taking those steps, procrastinating the idea that tomorrow will come and I can deal with this another day. What is the psychology of procrastination? Why do we do this thing? What's the root of it? And what can we do or tell ourselves to kill procrastination?
So when we procrastinate, what we do actually is run from pain and move towards pleasure, right? So we do another activity or another thing that is not what we are supposed to do. So that means that we associate that activity with pain, right? So first of all, is actually, recognizing that and seeing why that might be. So when it comes to starting a business, if you are still working for someone else and you are thinking of, like, starting your business, making it full time, it could be really overwhelming because you are looking at the end picture, right? So then that's what stops you. Is like, how I'm gonna get there, right? And that anxiety kicks in. So then, you are gonna get distracted and you're gonna try to do something else because you feel like it's too much. So I would say the first thing, it will be finding what is the small task that you can do today that will get you closer to your goal, right? So if in 1 year time you want to have a full-time business, okay, what is the first step within that year that you can take now? And that might be research, that might be, like doing some inner work, looking for your purpose, whatever it is, and actually doing that small task that is not so difficult but also gives you pleasure. So you need to look at the thing that you need to do from a place of, I enjoy doing this. If you see it as a painful task, you are not going to do it as well, right? So it's reframing the story that you tell yourself about the task that you need to do. Again, it's all about the mindset. What are you telling yourself, right? And sometimes you cannot even recognize it because you're just going, like, you have been like hours like folding clothes when you should be doing whatever you should be doing, and you don't realize. But you do realize after, maybe after a week, maybe after a month, it's like, oh, I haven't done this again. So it is actually being honest with yourself, and seeing, okay, why haven't I actually taken action on this? What is it about this that overwhelms me, scares me? And how can I make it less scary? How can I make it more enjoyable, smaller, digestible? So I believe that I can do it. And then when you do it, actually, feel it and say, okay, I am excited about doing this, because it is exciting about researching about your new business. It is exciting. But if you put the pressure on, and especially that comes, from perfectionism, oh, I need to do it right, I need to do this, like, no, it's okay, just leave the pressure and do it from a place of enjoyment, and so it doesn't feel that work, right? And again, like tapping into your why you are doing it, and I have also like different techniques, like, setting a timer of 25 minutes and saying, okay, 25 minutes, I'm going to do this task. Then 5 minutes, I give myself a break, and, have different systems that will help you take the action. But planning will be a big one. If you are procrastinating and you have a day job and you need to work on your side business, you need to have a good planning. I used to, like, when I started my coaching journey, I had a part-time job, and I will just print like the weekly planner, and hour by hour, I will know where my time goes. And it's so powerful because I didn't know where my time was going. I was like, oh, the day has ended. I don't have any time. But then I realized that I was like wasting time. So I did like an assessment of my week and actually seeing where my time was going, and then plan it again. Okay, how can I be more smart about my time, and take those first steps. But yeah, those are some of the tips. Hopefully those help.
Absolutely. I really like what you're saying in terms of break things into smaller pieces, find the joy in them, and take control of your time, especially taking control of your time. I've heard someone recently say to me, because I was complaining about there's not enough hours in the day to do everything I need to do. And someone said to me, well, you and Beyonce have the same amount of hours in a day. So if she can be doing international global tours, rehearsals,
Yeah,
creating, you and her both have 24 hours in a day. It's about what you're
yeah.
doing with your time and taking that power back of, instead of losing an hour on social media, putting your phone away and taking that time and putting it towards yourself and your growth.
100%. And also, I would say really important, managing your energy, not just time. Is about
Mm.
energy, right? So if
Mhm.
if you don't have energy in the evening and you're trying to do a creative task, then that's gonna be challenging. I know myself, like in the evening, my brain says, see you later, and it wouldn't work, right? So it's like looking at, okay, when am I more energized? Maybe in the morning when you do, your workout, after you are like, wow, you have a lot of energy. Okay, so then I need to dedicate that hour before work, maybe, right? Maybe in lunch break you have still energy. How can I do it? Then it goes into thinking as well, what you're eating and how are you sleeping and all of those things that affect you, right? So if I'm trying to, eat a bowl of pasta and then after that doing some work, I'm not gonna be able to do it, right? So I know that I'm gonna have to take a rest. And I have it sometimes, and I know that I'm gonna have to take a rest. It's not gonna be a creative work afterwards. So just be mindful of everything that you're putting into your body. To me, like stopping looking at the phone in the morning has been like magic to me. I have been doing it years. So for anyone watching, stop looking at your phone in the morning. I literally don't look at it from the first or 2 hours. I don't look at my messages. I just turn off the alarm, and notifications are off. So I need to actually go to WhatsApp to see notifications. I need to go to Facebook to see them, so I don't get them. That will save you a lot of energy right there.
I agree. I've found that my phone is the biggest time and energy vampire in my life. And I'm sure a lot of us
Yeah,
can relate to that because it's been designed that way. And these apps have been designed in these
yeah.
ways. So, yeah, we do need to take our power back for our time and our energy. As we wrap up today's chat, can you tell us a little bit of what someone could expect when they are working with you, what your program offers, and also how we can get in touch with you?
You can expect someone that is going to challenge you, is going to challenge the way that you think, but also is going to be your biggest cheerleader, and is going to be there to support you and hold your hand all the way through the journey. It is a wonderful journey because you will, actually discover yourself, and then what you can bring to the world, and also turn it into a business. So it's not just about starting a business. It's way deeper than that. And I recommend it like to everyone, even if they don't want to start a business, because we all need to know ourselves and act from what we truly want, and not what others have told us to be. So that's what they will expect, like someone to like hold you accountable and be there with you to help you through the journey. And the way that you can connect with me and explore that, it will be, first of all, social medias, if you are there around. So I will be Long Gone Laura on Instagram and on Facebook as well. Otherwise, you can just email me to laura@longgonelaura.com, or go to my website, www.longolaura.com, and then get in touch from there and see, if you were a good fit and you're ready for the journey of actually getting uncomfortable, challenging the way that you think, and coming home, which is like what is truly like coming home to yourself, to actually create a path from there.
Wow, Laura, beautiful words to leave this interview off on, coming home to yourself. So for anyone who is listening, who wants to find home within themselves and find their purpose and build a beautiful life for themselves, strongly encourage you to get in contact with Laura. We will put her details at the bottom. And just a reminder that members of her Expat Lives membership program will get discounts off of Laura's services, as well as our other partners. So that brings us to the end of our conversation today. Laura, thank you so much. It has been really inspiring and insightful to chat to you. And thank you for the work that you're doing. It's really important.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I loved it. Thank you.
We'll also include her contact details in the link or description below, as well as our contact details if you would like to get in touch. Just a reminder to please visit our website, follow us on social media, make sure you subscribe to our channel to keep up to date with all of the videos that we'll be doing. And we have some exciting news coming up. We're going to be launching an app very, very soon. I can't tell you too much about it yet, but watch our social media platforms. Make sure you subscribe to our newsletter as well to keep updated. And thank you for joining us today. And once again, Laura, thank you so much for chatting with us.
Thank you so much.